Well, hello, welcome again to a reading through of Plato's Apology of Socrates, and I got up to chapter 20, which in the numbering system is 32a4. So this is an interesting chapter because it contains little bits of information about the period under the tyrants and then the restoration of democracy. So megala dego humin tekmeria para examai tuton. But I, in fact, get there, I will provide much evidence, tekmeria, this is plural from tekmerion, much evidence of these things. Not words, but deeds. A thing which, now it is plural here, but it's very abstract here, that thing which you respect, you hold in honour. Accusati dei moi ta sum bebe kota. So here then, the things having happened, this is a perfect participle from sum bono, often used impersonally, sum bone, it occurred, it happened. So this is the perfect participle, the things that happened to me. Hina eideti hoti, in order that you might know, ud an heni hup e kathoimi. Now this is a funny form here, it's a poetic form from the verb hup eiko, which we're going to get again down here, meaning to yield or to give in. So it's a poetic form, it's an aristoptative here. So in order that you might know that neither did I yield heni, literally to one person. We normally expect udeni or something here, but this is probably a bit more emphatic here. In order that you might know that I did not yield to anyone, not to one person, para todikaion, contrary to the law, desa stanaton, through fear of death. So we take that bit first. So in order that you might know that, having feared death, I did not yield to anyone, contrary to that which is just. Me hup eikon de alla kan apoloimein. Now there's a variant reading here. The Allah, for some reason the editor here, in fact he says at the bottom, scripsi, I have written, but the variant, the manuscript reading is Hummer, which sort of makes sense, and I noticed that Denya in his edition and others have kept the Hummer there and not put the Allah. So reading Hummer here, it would mean something like, I did not yield, it's sort of even if at the same time I might die. So even though death was hanging over me, I did not yield. If we keep the Allah, it's a little bit more awkward because you've got to take the Allah first. So it's something like, but I was not yielding even if I might die. But the place of the Allah here is very strange then. Anyway, I leave the commentators to argue about the correct reading here. I think it's easier to read Hummer here. So he's making the point that never in my life, even under fear of death, did I do anything which I knew to be not dikaios. Ero dehumin fortika menkai dikanika. These are funny, funny words here. Fortika, it's a word which has the meaning of vulgar or common or coarse, and dikanika is something which is forensic or judicial or fit for the courts. So it's something like, I will speak to you things that are common or vulgar on the one hand, and dikanika and judicial or fit for the courts but true. So we have a nice men and a de here. Ego ga o Andres Athenoioi, for I, O men of Athens, Alein men arcane udemian popoti erixa en te pole. Now we've got a bit of an idiom here. It's arco plus arcane. Arcane in the sense of an office or a rule, and so the idiom here is I've never held any office in the city. But ebuliusa, again a technical term here, I was a member of the Bulae, of the council. So this is the council of the 500 that was instituted by Cleisthenes. So I've never held any, really public office in the city, but I was a member of the council. Kai etuken hemon hefule Antiochis prutenuusa, and the tribe of Antiochis, that must be the one that he belongs to. So the tribe of Antiochis, and it's Hamon, out of us. So our tribe of Antiochis happened, Prytanuusa, to hold the Prytany, so to hold the presidency, it's often translated as. So our tribe happened to hold the presidency, hoti humas, when you, plural, and we need to go forward a bit to find a verb which is here. So when you wished, krinein, to judge, perhaps almost for anakrinein, to condemn, athrous, altogether, so collectively. So when you were taking counsel to judge or perhaps condemn collectively, and then the object tous decastrategus, the 10 generals, the ones not anelomenus, the ones not taking up tous ectes taumachias. This you've got to supply necros here, I think, the dead bodies after the sea battle. So again, you look up the commentaries on to get the details of this sea battle, but there was a famous sea battle in which the generals did not take up the dead after the battle, and they were condemned for it. So when you decided to collectively condemn the 10 generals, the ones not taking up those after, literally the corpses, the dead ones after the sea battle, hos ente hostero chrono passin humin edoxin, as it was decided by all of you, so as was said, as was held to be right by all of you, ento hostero chrono, in a later time, so at a later date. Tot ego monos, I at that time alone of those in the Prytany, ein antiothane. Now this is from en anti amai. It's an alpha contract verb, and it's lengthened here. So it's in anti amai, to oppose, and it's opposed to you. So as to do nothing contrary to the law. So I alone of the Prytany, I was opposed to you, to do, made in, it's anything, it's the negative in Greek, but of course it's to be opposed to nothing, so to be opposed to anything. So at that time, I alone among those in the Prytany, I was opposed to you doing anything contrary to the laws, and I voted from se physdemai, I voted enantia, in opposition, so I voted against it. Kai And we get a genitive absolute, I think, here. The hetoimon on tone goes with the tone retoron. There's no really main verb in here, they're just genitive absolutes. I think we have to go further on to get the main verb down here. So when the orators were ready, en dike nunai, this is to lay information against me, that is to impeach me. And ap again, this is the term used for to arrest someone, it means to drag them off. So when the orators were ready to impeach me and to drag me off, and you were yelling and shouting, it's all part of the genitive, another genitive absolute here, you were yelling and shouting, I decided that it was necessary for me rather to run the risk, and then meta, it's really on the side of the law and justice and that which is right. So I decided that it was necessary for me to run the risk of danger on the side of the law and justice, understand, and then the malon a, rather than meth humon genesthai, to be with you, that is to side with you, you not advising just things. So this is a participle agreeing with the humon here. And me, in apposition to the me, fearing, having feared either desmon a thanaton, desmon the bond, so it's prison or death. So rather interesting grammatically, that sentence there. I'll just do it very quickly again. So the orators being ready to impeach me and to arrest me, and you lot yelling out and crying. So despite the fact all that was happening, I decided it was necessary for me rather to run the risk on the side of the law and justice than to side with you, you who were not intending just things, not wishing, advising just things, and me fearing either imprisonment or death. So it's almost although I feared imprisonment or death. Kai tauta men, now we've got a men there, there's a det here. Tauta men ein eti democratu menes tes palios. And these things were, so took place, and we get a genitive absolute, while the city was still being ruled by the people, so while there was still a democracy. Epede de, but afterwards, oligarchia egeneto, the oligarchy happened, and hoi triaconta, and the 30 hour once again for the hour, I think, meta pempsaminoi, so having called for or having sent for me, I myself as pempton, as the fifth. In other words, myself and 4 others. And we get some nice alliteration here too. It's meta pempsaminoi, pempton. So a nice bit of alliteration. So, but when the oligarchy occurred and the 30 tyrants again sent for me, as along with 4 others, sent for me to come to understand the tholos, this is the rotunda, to come to the rotunda, pros etaxan, from pros tassa, they gave orders for understand us, again from ago, to bring Leon the Salaminian from Salamis, in order that he might die. Now again, I'll leave the commentaries to expound all that, but that's what the Greek says here. So the 30 once again sent for me as with 4 others to come to the rotunda, and gave orders to us to bring Leon the Salaminian from Salamos in order that he might die. Hoia de kai alois kanoi polis pola pros etaton. Again, some nice alliteration here. And many such things indeed also did they order to many others. Nicely structured here. So many such things indeed also they ordered to many others. Bul lominoi, wishing, a lovely expression here, hos plestus and a place I tion. So wishing, literally to fill up with guilt as many as possible. In other words, wishing to implicate as many as possible. So they were getting everyone else to do their dirty work for them and then implicating them all. Tote mentoi ego u logo alla ergo ao enedek samen hotiemoi thanatu men mele. We get then this funny expression, me agoikoteron ein a pain, ud hotiun to the maiden adikon made an nosion ergetzestai, tutot de topan mele. It's a long sentence there. But at that time, however, the mentoi, once again I revealed, I made it plain, not with word but by deed, that now I'll take this little funny phrase in here next. It's literally, unless it was cruder or rougher to say. It's fairly idiomatic. It means something like, to use a rather crude expression, or if I might put it bluntly. So it's literally, unless it was a rougher thing to say. So if I might put it bluntly. So I'll just come back to that there. So at that time, however, I revealed, once again, not with word but in deed, to put it bluntly, that now the ood hotiun goes with the earlier bit here. We've got a nice men and a de. That not in any way, not at all, was there a concern for me of death. So to put it bluntly, I had no concern at all about death on the one hand, but it's almost but rather the concern was, understand, for me to do nothing unjust nor unholy. Now the to goes with the infinitive, it's the articular infinitive. So there was concern for me that I do nothing unjust or unholy. Tutot de topan mele, all of this was of concern. So I was concerned, my only concern was this. Emega ekene he ake uk plexin hutos iskura usa hosti adikon tia gazesthai al epede ecte stolu ex elthomin. I'll just pause there. So this, now the arche here is the government, it's the rule. So perhaps this government did not, perhaps this, what's the word there to use, this, well, to say this government, this regime perhaps might be good. This regime did not terrify me. This is from ekplaso, to amaze, or to knock me out, literally. So it did not terrify me, although it, the concessive here, although being so powerful, iskura, these are feminine agreeing with arche, although being so powerful, they did not terrify me so as to do anything unjust. But when ex althomen, when we came out from the rotunda, the tholos, we get a men and a de. So the other four, they went to Salamis and they brought, perhaps almost arrested, Leon. But I, ap eon, going off, I went oikadi home. Kai isos an diatata apethenon. And perhaps on account of these things, I would have been put to death, I would have died. Ame, except that, hey arche, this is the government, except that the regime, perhaps, Kateluthe, from Katalua, was dissolved, diatakion, fairly quickly, so perhaps almost soon afterwards. And esontai, there will be many witnesses of these things who mean for you. So Socrates in this whole section here is arguing that he's always acted in accordance with the laws and accordance with justice, and even when death was staring him in the face, he still refused to act other than in accordance with the law or with justice. And that is the end of chapter 20.